Welcome back to EDU-Tutor. Today we'll be looking at Introduction to Business Organizations, and we're going to be looking at some reasons why you would want to start a business. The objectives for this lesson is to list the different forms of business organization, describe each type of business organization, and explain some advantages and disadvantages of each type of business organizations. So what I'm going to do is to split this video into several different videos so that you can select the business organization that you are interested in. So what is a business organization? A business organization can be defined as an entity that is formed for the purpose of carrying on the commercial enterprise of selling and buying. What that simply means is that any type of business organization that exists will have to buy something and will also have to sell something. So it can be a service that they can buy, or it can be a good, and it can be a service that they sell, or it can be a good, right? Now, a business organization is governed under principles and laws governing contract and exchange of goods and services. Now, how or what role does a business organization play in a country? So, a business organization is expected to produce goods and services. So, of course, as we said, a business organization has to sell either a good or a service, and that will depend on what they want to offer. So, you will have business organizations that offer services. For instance, banks offer services as well as goods. Hairdresser, a hairdresser will offer a service, but you also have places that offer goods. So a clothing store will offer goods, right? So it all depends on what the business sets out to do, but they must offer either a service or a good. A business also creates jobs and trains employees. So when businesses hire employees, sometimes they will not come with the skills that they should have, so the company will have to train them. A business will also purchase goods and services for resale. So, as we said, a business will sometimes buy goods and services. A business will also borrow from financial institutions to generate a profit. So sometimes when persons go about setting up a business organization, they do not have enough capital to fund the business. And so they will have to turn to financial institutions to get money to borrow so that they can start up their business. A business will also pay taxes. So within the country that they exist, they will have to pay taxes. And the last function is to produce a stream of income. So a business will produce a stream of income to those who have the business. Now, why would you want to start a business? Some persons will say financial independence. So they want to ensure that they're making enough money, right? That they don't have to worry about their bills tomorrow. Some persons also want to be their own boss, so they don't want to work a 9 to 5. They want to ensure that they are the person in authority. Some persons want to utilize their skills and knowledge. So, for instance, let's say that you're good at weaving. You might start to sell items that you weave, or you're good at hairdressing. You might start to do hair. Or let's say that you are a carpenter, right? So, you just turn your trade into a business. We also have self actualization and self fulfillment. So, when we talk about self actualization, we're talking about achieving or fulfilling your own potential, right? So, it's becoming the best version of yourself. So, for instance, if we have an artist who is very creative, right? The best way for him to fulfill himself is to become somebody who inspires others through using his skills, right? So he will go about inspiring others through his talent. Self fulfillment, on the other hand, is when a person achieves a sense of deep satisfaction by achieving their personal goals, right? So, therefore, that's what we mean by self fulfillment and self actualization. We also start businesses to create employment. So, whether it be employment for yourself or employment for others. Now, we're going to be looking at some of the different forms of organizations that we'll be looking at in other videos. So, we already established that an organization will have to buy goods and services and also sell goods and services. An organization is a system that groups people together towards establishing a goal. Therefore, a business organization would be centered around grouping people together so that they can create goods and services for a profit. Now, we can group business organizations into either the private or the public sector, but we're going to be looking at that in a separate video that will be in this playlist as well. So, what I want you to take note of is the different forms of business organizations that exist, right? So, we have 11 of them on the screen. The first one being a sole trader, then we have a partnership, private limited liability company, public limited liability company, multinational cooperatives, conglomerates, franchise, nationalized industries, local and municipal authorities, and government departments. So you will see a video on each of these in the playlist below. All right, thank you for watching.